Hi, I'm Mark Skelsey, editor at downsizing.com.au. Now, in the last few months, and in particular during the coronavirus pandemic, downsizing.com.au has seen a marked shift in consumer search activity on our site towards Queensland. To better understand why this might be the case, I thought I might talk to a couple who've actually moved to Queensland during this period. During July, Suzie and Philip Medlyn moved from their family home in Cranbourne, southeast of Melbourne, to the Ingenia lifestyle land lease community in beautiful Hervey Bay in Queensland. And they are on the line to tell us about their experience. Hello to Suzie and Philip.
Good morning, Mark.
Hi, good morning.
Hello. Now, can you tell me initially, why did you decide to move from Victoria to Queensland?
Initially, it was because my sister lives in Hervey Bay and she kept telling us how wonderful the weather was up here. And she said there's this new lifestyle over 55s place being built, which is really close to her. And we should consider having a look at it and moving up here. We were considering downsizing, absolutely. When we came up here, and we had a look at the house, and truly the weather was fabulous. So that was definitely
A bonus.
Definitely a bonus, because in Victoria the weather's not real good. And when we, just looking around here, we thought, we could see ourselves here. It was, it was kind of a no-brainer in the end.
Okay, so when did you inspect the property and when did you actually sell your house in Victoria?
Towards the end of February, we came up, and the COVID thing was just starting to make waves in the news. So we went back to Victoria. We put our house on the market in...
Probably March, middle of March, had it on the market, and we sold it in 3 days, which we were very surprised because of the virus. And we had a 45-day settlement.
Yeah.
It was a bit close, but it all worked out better.
The settlement on your house in Victoria was in July, or early July, I understand. And that was the start of a fairly incredible journey. Can you tell me about that journey?
How much time have you got?
well, we don't have that much time, but
that's okay.
Give me the best bits.
Okay, go on.
So we settled at 4 p.m. We were, by the time we did everything, and we left it around 6 with
we hired a budget truck. We were moving ourselves, and I hired it one way, which ended up being good. Yep. And then we crossed New South Wales about 11:30 midnight, because we were transiting through. They weren't allowed to stay in New South Wales. So we drove straight through and got to the Queensland border Saturday night at 9 o'clock, and we're told you're not allowed to come here. You're not welcome. You've got to isolate for 14 days.
So I guess what had happened then is that during your journey, the rules changed about entries into Queensland, which you weren't anticipating. Is that right?
Exactly. That's right. So we drove up with our border passes and, our new resident address and everything, quite confident, gave it to them, and they said, no, I'm sorry, you're not allowed into Queensland. You have to isolate in New South Wales for 2 weeks. So we drove, we spent a night
at Boggabilla truck stop.
In a truck stop.
So we slept the night in the truck.
And which was not real comfortable. So I got out, had a stretch, had breakfast there, and thought, well, what do we do now? We can't go back to Victoria. We're home. That's sold. We can't go to Queensland. So initially we're homeless. So
we tried the border again that morning, but because they had our rego, I said, no,
you go to New South Wales.
We headed back to Moree, and then Susie's sister rang us up and she organised for us to stay.
A pet-friendly place in Moree. So we stayed there for 2 weeks. We had food brought in. We went out for a walk every day. But yeah, so we absolutely did the right thing. On the 15th day, we sort of, you know, did the border pass thing again, went back to, you know, held our breath because we thought, oh, no. So we went there, we had our passes, again, our place of residence in Queensland. Receipts to say that we'd isolated, and the border police looked at it, looked at us, looked at it and said, you've done the right thing. Have a wonderful life in Queensland. So we just crossed the border.
And enjoy your new home.
So we crossed the border and we pulled into a side street, high five, breathed, because we held our breath. We had to breathe, and then we just quickly got tailed out of there as fast as we could, legally, and further away from the border as we could.
Who would have thought that in Australia and in this day and age, you're having to sort of negotiate such incredible border crossings and issues? I thought we're all one country. It's unbelievable, isn't it, really?
You hit the nail on the head. Exactly those words. Yeah. We're one country, but we're all divided at the moment.
Yeah, very, yeah.
Which is a shame.
Very divided. And, yeah. But having made the move and like looking back, I mean, it's only been 3 weeks.
It was an experience.
It was an experience that you never, ever want to go through again. Never. But having said that, being enticed to an over 55 lifestyle in Queensland, a really nice house, a really nice community, you probably would do it again.
Yeah, and the people at Ingenia have been so helpful. They were ringing us every second day, seeing how we're going, and so yeah, it really was up there. You know, their help was really good.
When you got into Queensland, as Victoria moved back into lockdown, you must have been incredibly relieved to be in Queensland.
Yes, yeah, we just couldn't believe what we were hearing.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were just so lucky we got out when we did, you know. So.
Yeah, we were lucky because we had a 45-day settlement, which was a bit rushed, but in hindsight, it was a blessing in disguise, because if we hadn't have got out then, we would still be there. And effectively probably homeless again.
Or paying rent.
Because, you know, the 45, say if we took the 60 days, yeah, we wouldn't get out. We would still be there, but the house would have still sold. So we would have had to try and find something in Victoria for God knows how long. Yeah. So although it was rushed and although we had to go back to New South Wales and isolate there, it was still better than the alternative.
So as I've said, on our website, we're seeing a shift in consumer search activity towards Queensland, and that's largely coming from New South Wales and Victorian residents. Do you think more people are looking at moving to Queensland at this time because it's perceived having the right environment and being relatively safe?
It's not a move that you make lightly. Interstate is quite traumatic, even without the COVID virus. So if for the people that are already thinking about it or doing it, it would be a long thought process. It's not something you do overnight. The COVID virus thrown in for good measure might just be an added force to make you do that move. And the weather in Queensland is definitely enticing, especially to the southerners.
Yeah, like I'm in a T-shirt and everyone's walking around with halter neck jumpers.
A shame we can't put this on video, it's only audio, but anyway, I understand.
Another thing I found, when you live in suburbia in a normal house, you know, you might see one neighbour and that's it. Here, you can't even walk to the letterbox without talking to 10 to 15 people, and it's a 5-minute walk and it takes you 3/4 of an hour. And it's great. It's wonderful. It's just something completely different, and we love it.
And look, you've stolen my question from me, which I was going to ask, is how you found living in a land lease community. And you just told me there about being able to, you know, enjoy that social interaction. What other aspects have you enjoyed as well?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like Philip said, you know, living in a normal suburb, you might know one neighbour, possibly two, but it's not the same interaction as in a community like this. You really do look out for each other. Like everybody asks us, have we settled in? You know, they're genuinely concerned, you know.
We're waiting on our furniture to be delivered. You know, it was 4 to 6 weeks, and I was speaking to my next door neighbour, and I said, oh, look, we've just got a card table and 4 chairs, because, you know, like, it was like when we're in our 20s, just starting over, we're in our 60s and we're starting over. And the next minute he's walked in with 2 comfortable chairs and a trestle, which was, you know, so nice. He took 2 chairs off his dining room table and loaned it to us till we get our furniture.
Yeah, so that's what community is all about.
So that's what it's all about.
What about exploring the local area? My understanding is Hervey Bay's got a lovely long pier you can go to. I've never been.
We've done that.
We've done that.
Maybe tell me about it a bit, you know. But it's got a nice boardwalk and a foreshore area, doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah, great fish and chip shop across the road from there. We've checked out the RSL.
The RSL's good, the secret place. That's wonderful. Food's good. Yeah.
What else? So, we know that there's a gardens, but we haven't got there yet. But we will. Fraser Island, we haven't done yet, but we will.
Yeah, good. And just in terms of, I'm just interested in the terms of the people that are there at your community. Because obviously it's still being built and populated. Where are your fellow residents coming from? Are they mainly from Queensland or different parts of Australia? Where are they from?
The majority so far are all Queenslanders, but our understanding is more people are looking from the southern states, so from New South Wales and Victoria. Now they can't actually physically come up and look because of the lockdown, but there are a lot of inquiries from the southern states.
It's been great talking to you, Suzie and Philip, and it's great to hear that you're enjoying and settling in there after what's been a bit of a tough little journey. So congratulations and nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.